Just debating with myself, where there is no heart, where there is no brain, where there is no organ working, who am I going to talk to? This bill is a matter of the heart. If you're a human being, without a heart, you are not a human being. And I would like to ask the 11th Parliament, or whoever is going to finally pass this bill. I see the 11th Parliament is really trying to conclude either strong or weak. If you pass this bill, you'll conclude weak. If you don't pass, you'll conclude strong.
That is for us.
Now, if you don't have a heart and you call yourself a human being, you are not a human being. This bill calls for someone with a heart. You've heard the cries of those young people about their parents, about what happens in a typical home, a typical Ugandan home. This is what you are trying to stifle. So I really don't have much to say. I just want to urge you, have a heart. Ask God to give you a heart.
Thank you. Okay?
Thank you.
Alice.
And in conclusion, these are our prayers. One, we invite the committee to see the wisdom in the submissions, this particular one and the many submissions that are similar to this. And focus on the greater good for Uganda. Stop this bill from proceeding to the next stage. We pray that the committee accepts our prayer to throw out this bill in its entirety. And we invite government to rethink its attitude towards its citizens. We, the citizens, are not the enemies of the state. There are 1,000 other laws that have been listed here, even in our preamble, that address majority of, if anything, all the things that government is purporting to want to address in this bill. We ask that the proponents of this bill withdraw this draconian proposal. The Sovereignty Bill 2026, in conclusion, is a direct attack on Uganda's democracy, economy, social fabric, and friendships, and the activities of civil society. And we join others in rejecting it completely, so that together we defend our freedoms, protect our communities, and secure a future built on justice and accountability. Chair and members, we thank you very much for listening to us.
Thank you, Alice. Alaso, Asianut.
Says Isaiah 10 verse 1 to 4, woe to those who make unjust laws, to those who issue oppressive decrees, to deprive the poor of their rights and withhold justice from the oppressed of my people, making widows their prey and robbing the fatherless. What will you do on the day of reckoning, when disaster comes from afar? To whom will you run for help? Where will you leave your riches? Nothing will remain but to cringe among the captives or fall among the slain. Yet for all this, his anger is not turned away. His hand is still upraised. Chair, I'm not saying that you are the ones making bad laws.
Assuredly, those are not members of the 11th Parliament.
Yes, but I'm still,
not even the 12th.
Yeah, but I just thought that was important for the process that we are looking at. So because of the prayers that we're going to make, we will not apply our thoughts to clause by clause on the bill. The ANT, as you know, is a political party. We come here convinced that when you look at the general health of this proposal before you, we feel that the heart is sick, the legs are sick, the kidneys are dead, the brain is dead, and everything about this bill is bad. And so we come to you with the view that our main prayer is that this thing be thrown out. And it is within your power as a committee to go back to the House and say this thing should not even proceed to second reading. It's a terrible thing. All my life observing Parliament and participating, I have never seen such a proposal come to committees, a bill come to committees that has generated such an ease among the high and the low of society as this one. So we come to you with the understanding that this looks like a very, very bad bill, and if it goes to second reading, you are trying to somehow make a poisonous thing feel tasty. So here is our presentation. We categorically reject this bill in its entirety. It is not about protecting Ugandan sovereignty. It's about consolidating absolute control by the ruling elite at the expense of all citizens' freedoms, economic livelihoods, and business opportunities. In this bill, we see a state that is terrified of its people. It is afraid of the poor. It is afraid of those in the diaspora. It is afraid of its neighbors. The state is afraid of me, and it is afraid of you. That is what we are seeing in this bill. We are seeing a nation, a proposal that is trying to hang on sovereignty. Sovereignty where we are looking at an independent Uganda with a clear territorial framework, feeling scared of what should not be scaring it. We also seeing in this bill a veiled attempt to amend the constitution to take away our inherent freedoms and democratic rights, comparable only to Russian agent foreign laws. You know, Russia has had a series of them, because this is not about sovereignty. This is about foreign agents looking for people who you think could be advancing alternative views. The whole concept of a foreign agent, interrogated in the Russian concept, was an innovation to completely crush the opposition. And so we come highlighting the dangers. Dissent will be silenced, diplomatic ties affected, violation of regional treaties, economic sabotage, and government gaining unchecked power, internet activism being suppressed, local families. Recently we had one of our kids in Saudi Arabia, so she would send money to her grandmother. So that one being labeled a foreign agent. The diaspora reclassified as foreigners and stripped of their citizenship. We've listened to that. Laws being abused and a threat to job creation and efforts to find green pastures. NGOs crippled and harsh penalties. They have already mentioned that. I want to highlight that if there is any beneficiary, any person benefiting from this bill, it will probably strictly be the regime and its apparatus and business cronies that will temporarily gain power to make more wealth, but the rest of us are not likely to benefit. So it is our prayer that this bill will be thrown out in its entirety. Honorable Chair, one of the things that I want to invite you to look at is the state of our public service, especially the way Ugandans do, the way our public servants do things in a very inept way, that you can apply for something and you take months, and you even imagine that we can go and apply for something from a minister and get clearance to get money to bury a dead relative, on top of our very corrupt tendencies as a country. So we make three prayers, and then I will give, maybe let me first give my colleagues to say something, then I'll come back on the prayers. I'm going to give Ambassador Edith Grace Sempala to say something in regard to the foreign relations. Honorable Osege will say something, and then lastly, the young person will speak on behalf of the young people.
Are you still in your 10 minutes?
Yeah, we are. As you see, I really summarized everything. Ambassador, you have a minute.
Thank you, my leader. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the committees. International affairs is at risk of being undermined. International affairs, Mr. Chairman, thrive on making friends and influencing people. I will just give one example, maybe two. I was privileged to lead the effort to enact in the US Congress the law giving us the opportunity to trade with the United States called AGOA.
AGOA.
The African Growth and Opportunity Act. We were able to influence the American policy towards Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, because we convinced them that it was in their interests as well, because they cannot have a market that it doesn't have, that is not strong. So therefore, when you bring a bill that undermines the trust that other countries have in Uganda, and you know very well that Uganda has benefited a lot. We have benefited through aid, we have benefited through trade, we have benefited through friendships, through trust that they have in us. Now, for us to have, for them to trust us, we must also trust them. This bill undermines.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Osege.
Agaba first.
Agaba first. And yeah.
Yeah, not leave Uganda, for example, because of their will. They leave Uganda because the greener pasture here in Uganda dried up.
You mean the diaspora?
Yes.
They have Ebre articulated.
Yeah, they have Ebre articulated.
Very.
Yes, but I just need to add a voice, and I requested. Yes, for the young people, because that's the constituency that I stand for. So when you make those people foreigners and people that we know they contribute 4% of our GDP, it's quite terrifying that instead of ensuring that the sovereignty, if we want to protect our sovereignty as a country, let it be protected economically by stabilizing the economy here than, you know, making people that support our economy with 9 trillion annual remittances to be called foreigners. Otherwise, we are going to cripple our country, Uganda. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, conclude. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, maybe I could just say hello. Angeline Osege is my name.
Switch off. Okay. Okay.
Angeline Osege is my name. It has been said I'm the leader of the women.
Okay.
These microphones used to be very strong. I don't know
It
what.
still is. The way it's stronger than the way you left it.
So I